And good morning, everyone. Happy Tuesday. It's the 21st. We're actually 1 week away from March. Man, the time goes by just so fast. Hard to believe.
I know.
It's like it was just January. Hell, it was just 2022. A lot can happen in a quick amount of time.
It's going so fast.
Well, everybody, want to introduce Mack Little, who's a wonderful author. You definitely want to check out her book, Daughter of Hades, especially if you like pirate stories. But that's all I'm going to say about it, because we're going to let her talk about the book. So tell us a little bit about your story and how it came about.
Okay, so the title of the book is Daughter of Hades, and that's the name of the central ship. And it follows two sets of siblings as they escape persecution and captivity. The first is Denny and Jimmy. They're twin brother and sister. They escape slavery in Barbados on a pirate ship and join a community of Maroons on Jamaica. And Maroons are escaped slaves. And the other set of siblings are Pat and Yvonne. They're brothers. They're French Huguenots, and they're escaping religious persecution in France, and they come to the Caribbean. And it's a dual timeline, and then gradually their lives become entangled, and there's a lot of adventure and romance on the high seas.
Very nice. Now, what made you come up with this story in particular? Was there something that you were motivated by?
Well, I've always loved reading historical fiction. I have an old love for romance, and after I read the Outlander series, I realized that I could really get deep into the accuracy, the authentic historic moments, and blend in a little bit of romance at the same time. And one thing I noticed when, I devour my favorite genre is that there's not a lot of persons of color that are the heroes.
Sorry about that. I thought I had that turned off.
I'm glad it was you instead of me. It's me.
The sad thing is I always turn this off before this, and one time I don't. Oh.
It's fine. I've been there. So there weren't a lot of people that looked like me, and if they did look like me, they were like slaves or plot device or whatever. And so, a lot of times, persons of color are left out of the historical record, and all we know about Blacks, Africans in the 17th century, the age of sail, is slavery. But there are so many more dimensions to their existence during that time. And when I found out about the Maroons, specifically the Maroons in Jamaica, it was like, oh, I have to explore this subject and write about it, because a lot of people don't know that Jamaica was a Spanish colony at first, and they were invaded by the British. And the slaves played I'm sorry, not the slaves, the Maroons, the escaped slaves, they played a huge part in mounting a resistance against the British. And they struck fear into the heart of the British, and they were never conquered. To this day in Jamaica, the Maroons have their own little sub government within the island. So I'm like, what a proud and fierce people. And they had a really close relationship with the Buccaneers at that time. And I'm like, okay, pirates, romance, Maroons, yes, I'm in. I had to write about it.
So it looks like you've done a lot of research. Did you actually go there to check it out, or?
No, I haven't. I haven't been there, but I want to go. The thing is, when I travel for research, I like to. I travel solo around the world, and I look at the travel advisories for Jamaica, and it's probably not the best place for a female to go alone and explore. So, um, so I'm looking for a good tour or a good travel companion to help me explore the Jamaica, because I'm dying to get there.
I can definitely imagine, and for that purpose alone, would be exciting in itself.
Mm. But I am going to Roatán this summer. That's in Honduras, and that was a popular pirate
Hmm.
hangout. And so I'm excited about getting to root around there and see what I can come up with.
Yeah, from my understanding, I think it was actually from Virginia, all the way to the Caribbean, which was big pirates area, Gulf of Mexico, of course.
Hmm.
I've done a little bit of research on it.
Yes, I'm impressed.
I've been, I was always fascinated by the Buccaneers, as we shall say.
Yeah. And yeah, I learned so much about them, and it's fascinating because when I first started, I didn't know the difference between a buccaneer or pirate and a privateer, and now
Mhm.
I feel like an expert.
It's always good to feel like an expert. I have to say that.
Yeah.
So, what would you say is your biggest inspiration for writing?
Right now, I just feel like I'm on a mission. A lot of times, people, and I realized that, my book has won some awards, and I realized that some of the attention it's getting is because I do deal with slavery in the book, even though it's not the central subject of the
Mhm.
book. But I deal with it authentically. I don't sugarcoat anything in the book, and but a lot of times, most of the stuff, historical fiction that you have about blacks, it's about its suffering, it's about our oppression and our racial trauma. But black people, like anybody else, want escapist fare. They want to escape into romance and adventure, and I want to fill that void, I suppose, because right now the landscape of escapist fare for people of color is kind of monochromatic. So I just want to add color to the historical romance
There
landscape.
we go. Always a good thing. Now, do you have anything coming up?
Yes. So thank you. Um,
Hi, Jolie.
Hello. Thank you. Well, I was so involved with, I love developing my characters for my books. And one of the characters, I really got deep into his background, but I couldn't include it there wasn't enough room to include it in Daughter of Hades. So I created a spinoff for my character called Badu. He was plantation. He was taken from Africa. He rose up in the ranks and became a plantation overseer. So it follows his life in Africa, in pre-colonial Africa, before he was sold into slavery, and also follows him as he escaped slavery. And so it's really interesting. The life, the pre-colonial life of the Africans was really fascinating. It's really fun to get into. So that's going to be coming out later this summer, around August or September.
And is that going to be a novel, novella?
It's a novella, so it's a quick read, quick, interesting, fun read.
I love the quick reads. I should write more of them.
I wish I could. It's really hard for me to keep it brief.
Yes, very. Especially being an author, because you do like to add a lot of those details.
Mm-hmm.
And then you realize, oh, I got to cut this out.
Yeah. I hate killing my little darlings. So.
Kind of like editing a movie. It's like you want to take out this scene because you don't think it will do so good, but then it's like, oh man, that's a main point. So,
yeah.
I know the feeling quite well.
I'm sure a lot of people could, a lot of writers out there can resonate with it. But
Now, I know I've seen you at conventions, but do you have anything coming up for book signings or anything else where people can find you?
Well, I'm going to be participating in the book launch for Fern's Love Call, for Love's Call by Fern Brady, another author at Inklings Publishing. And so I will be live on Facebook and posting on Facebook. So look for me there. You can go to my author page and I'll have the promotional materials, location where you can find me, and we can talk more about Daughter of Hades, my upcoming books, and get a sneak peek at what Fern's putting out.
Now, that was the next thing I was going to ask is, where can people find you?
Okay, so I'm at author Mack Little on Facebook and on Instagram and Twitter. My handle is at ZenBaby. That's ZenBaBie.
You might have to respell that one for me.
Okay. I can put it in the chat.
That'll work.
Okay. And also, you can find me at mack-little.com.
Mack-little.com.
Yeah. And there you can sign up for my newsletter and get an advanced copy, perhaps, of Shelter in a Hostile World, which is coming out in September.
I do like advanced copies. There you go, people. So with all that being said, I know you said you have the book launch for Fern. Mm-hmm. What about for you? Are you going to do any conventions this year, or are you still in the thoughts of it? Or
yeah, I'm going to be on a panel for the literary track at Comicpalooza. I just remembered that. So yeah, I'll be there, and I'm looking into setting up it at some booths around the Houston area. I just haven't settled on anything yet, but I'm going to be out there this year. That's my resolution since my birthday. It's really hard for me because I'm an introvert. I'm like, oh, okay, I can do this.
Well, I'm waiting to hear back from them for media passes. So I actually put in a panel as well. So you never know, we might be working panels side by side.
Oh, I look forward to seeing you again in person. It's been a while.
I think we discussed 2 years.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it went by really fast. What happened?
Some silly thing called COVID that we just. but we're still here.
Yes.
But I do want to thank you for being on the show. It was great seeing you again. Can't wait to see you again in person. And for everybody else, I will be on at 12 p.m. Central Time, noon, with our next conversation. And then don't forget Saturday, 11 a.m. Central, we are going to have Black Hills Con from South Dakota. They're going to be talking about their show. And just so you know, we are going to be at that show come the end of June. So we will see y'all later, everyone. Until next time, adios.